Good morning, Fatima. Thank you so much for taking our time to share your journey with us today. We are super excited to dive deep into your business growth, your how Seeds Leveling It Up has played a role in your business journey. First of all, I would like to congratulate on your business success and growth of Barrera Marketing and how you bring your clients focus on not chasing new clients, but to nurture their relationship, and how you are helping service-based businesses to turn their clients into clients' feedback into profit. And we would like to know that how this whole story or whole business idea came into existence and what inspired you in the first place.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the time that you're taking to get insights from people taking or entrepreneurs taking the course, because I think it's really valuable. I mean, again, with what I do in the business, it's just being able to see different perspectives from different people, because those perspectives and those insights is what drives and what grows your business. So just touch on what you were asking me about what my business is. So my business is really helping small business, service-based businesses really look at their strategies before they start looking at tactics. So what I have found is many business owners that I work with dive directly into tactics first, which in my opinion is one of the biggest mistakes, because without that foundation, and the way I look at the foundation is about you as a business owner. Who are you? What are your goals? What is your mission? What's your vision for your business, and where do you want to take it? Because you have to have that direction for your business, and it starts with you as a business owner. And then the second part of it is really looking at your business itself. What problems are you solving? Who are you serving? And what is unique about you? Because ultimately, in competitive environments, there's so many different competitors out there that do what you do. So
Mhm.
what makes you different, and what makes you stand out, and why would they choose to work with you versus someone else? And then the last pillar that I really focus on is the client, like really understanding who your client is, who that target audience is at a much deeper level. And so one of the things that I do is I really connect with business owners, with the clients. So my clients to understand what are their needs, like what are their true needs? Why did they pick you in the first place? Why are they staying with you? Like some of these critical questions that on a day-to-day conversation don't come out, right? Like if I'm talking to a client, a lot of these things don't come out, and you don't hear these things from your clients. It's really about having those strategic conversations with them to understand that. And sometimes also you see clients who leave and they never tell you anything. So you
Mhm.
never know why they've left, right? So those are some of the things that in having these strategic conversations with your clients, you can dive into that and understand exactly what it is that drives them. And just to give you some background as to why I want to focus on that. So my background is I was in corporate for about 25 years. So I worked with a lot of the Canadian big brands, so Manulife, Canada Life, Canadian Tire Bank, Carlson Marketing, more on the marketing side, customer experience side, and product development side. So bringing in a lot of that experience into what I'm doing now is really helpful for myself building my business, but also helping my clients build their business. But what I have found is even myself, when I first started, in corporate, you have everything sort of handed to you. You have your job description, you have your goals, you have everything given to you. So you just kind of go in, do what you have to do, and then
Mhm.
that's it. When you
Mhm.
have your own business, it's a complete mind shift where
Mhm.
now you have to understand, who am I as a business owner? Where do I want to take this business? What are my goals? What is
Mhm.
it that I'm striving for? And who am I? Who are my clients? And what is it that I'm out, you know, what am I offering them to serve them, to help them? And so I did start initially with a small boutique agency where I was helping business owners with websites and Google, getting them visible. And what ended up happening is when I was asking clients about, their clients and what makes them special, what makes them unique, most of them didn't know.
Mhm.
And so if they didn't know, it was one of those things where, you know what, that foundation's not there. And that foundation is the most important thing, because everything that's on, I look at it like an iceberg, right? So everything above the iceberg is everything that's visible. So the websites, the blogs, the SEO, everything above that is what you can see. But everything below that is what's the most important, most critical to keep that iceberg up and floating, right? So that's the piece that I found with a lot of business owners that was missing. And so looking at the strategy and understanding that foundation and that strategy first, because once you have that, whatever tactic you choose to do is likely going to work because now it aligns with everything on a foundational level, right? And so what I had seen a lot of, again, as I more and more I spoke to business owners, is that a lot of them were going to tactics first and realizing, you know what, things aren't working. Like I'm spending thousands and thousands of dollars on tactics that are just not working. And it's frustrating to me to see that because I've worked with a number of them where they've spent, you know, from anywhere from 10,000 to $20,000 on whether it was a website or SEO or whatever. And I'm not saying you don't need those things, but there's a right time for them and doing it the right way. And this is where I want to help business owners really understand themselves first before they start spending on those tactics. Because ultimately, it's really about being more efficient. Because especially now with marketing getting more and more expensive, you want to be able to take and allocate the what budget you have, um, and allocate it in a way that is going to, you know, drive results. So
No,
like
yeah.
I did a lot of, so similar to what we're doing right now. I did a lot of interviews with business owners that had worked with marketing agencies or spent on tactics, and it's just frustrating to me. And this is why I'm really passionate about helping business owners be able to see that direction first. Because I mean, there was one business owner I spoke to where she spent, I think, $8,000 that she got funding for it, which is, I mean, it's good and it's bad. I mean, it wasn't money that she worked hard for, but still, it was money she could have allocated towards something else. And she spent $8,000 and she got one sale that was equivalent to $100. So, and you see this all the time. And there are great marketing agencies out there, but there are so many, and it's like, how do I know which one to pick? How do I know which one's gonna, you know, stand by me, right? So just to give you a quick example, I had reached out at one point to some marketing agencies because I thought, you know what, I want to do tactics. I want to do some Google ads. I wasn't at the point to be doing Google ads at the time. But when I reached out to them, they all came back and gave me a proposal for Google Ads, except for one. And that one came back and she said to me, well, where you are in your business, it may make sense for you to do SEO first and then integrate Google Ads later. And I thought that's brilliant, right? Because now she's looking at my business, not just what I want, which is transactional. She's actually looking at my business holistically and saying, this is the best solution for you, right? So most of them would just say, you know what, you want this? No problem. I will give you that. And it's not,
Yeah.
may or may not be in your best interest at the time, right? Because your business, I mean, you have to look at a number of different variables. Where are you in your business? And does this actually align with where you want to take it,
Yeah.
right?
No, that's so interesting, and oh my God, like I can see that how this whole idea came into existence, and how you're focusing not on tactics and more the foundational aspect, and which is the strength and which is more
Yeah.
important. We can definitely see that how it is helpful and impactful for businesses to understand those basics for sure. So if you have to sum up. um Barrera marketing in one sentence, how would you describe that what it offers to the community?
What it offers to the community
Yeah.
is just understanding the why behind you as a business owner and understanding the why behind your customers' behavior. Because one of the things that, like I mentioned before, I do client interviews and I can, through a survey, I can understand what they did. You know, they bought this or they like this, they didn't like this. I know the what behind it, but until I talk to someone, I will never know the why behind it. And the why is what's going to drive your business forward. And I know sometimes what I've heard from business owners that I talk to about doing the client interviews, it's interesting because they would say to me, you know what, I don't want to do client interviews because I don't want to uncover like the difficult things. Like I don't want to know what I'm doing wrong. And I don't want to hear the negative stuff. And it's like, it's not negative. It's what you want. It's what's actually going to help you grow. Like if they're telling you that you're not doing something right, you
Mm,
need to know that because
mm,
whatever you're not doing right is the reason why they're not staying with you or the reason that they're actually choosing to leave. So it's super important,
yeah.
but mhm,
Yeah, no, wow, it is. And again, like the way you are saying it, it is so basic. Like sometimes we those simple things are the reasons that we are not like when you gave us the analogy of iceberg. I think that is where people don't see the important stuff, right? That
yeah,
is under the water and we can't see that. And that's why we are more focused on tactics, and that's why we are not thinking that what we are missing out when we the foundation is not strong.
yeah.
So yeah. So having said that, like of course for client businesses we are identifying that with the customer discovery or with these interviews, I would like to know what challenges did you face early on when you started the business, when you had the business idea, when you started doing it? What were the challenges you faced early on?
So exactly what I'm trying to help my business owners with is really getting that clarity. And this is
Mhm,
why it makes sense for me because when I started, like I said, I came from 9 to 5 corporate. And
mhm,
when I came from 9 to 5 corporate, everything's handed to you. You've got everything. It's here's your job description, here's everything. And you
mhm,
now know what you need to do. When you start your own business, you have no idea. And like I said, most business owners go to tactics, including myself. I did the exact same thing. So because I went to tactics, I had no clarity in what I wanted to do. I wasn't even looking at, who am I as a person and what it is that I want to do. How do I want to serve people? Who I want to serve people. So it's one of those things where you try this and it doesn't work. So you go here and you go here and you have no direction. So, and again, this is why I think it's so critical. I went through it, probably spent more time and more money on trying to figure that out. But once you know that, everything just falls into place so much easier. Like the blocks just go in much easier, and the puzzle pieces just fit. Whereas before, it's just you're just trying whatever you think or whatever you see. So there's that whole shiny object where somebody's doing something. So you try it and you think,
yeah,
okay, that's going to be something that's going to work for me. And then you see something else and you think, maybe that's going to work for me. And because you don't have that direction and you don't know where you're going, you just constantly keep trying different things, thinking
yeah,
that something's going to work. But
yeah,
until you go in like deeper, you're
yeah.
just going to constantly be trying things, spending time and spending money. And this is why I think it's so critical for small business owners to really start off with that understanding, that deep understanding before they start investing heavily on anything.
True that. Like I can definitely see. So understanding what challenges you faced, how did seeds leveling it up came into the picture? Like I would like to know more. We would like to know more that how it got into your whole journey. Like where did it play the role? How did it came into the picture? And if you can just share more on that ground.
Yeah, so I think so. The one that comes to mind right off the bat is April's uh, 101, I think it's 101 Wealth.
Welfare
I
101,
can't
yeah.
Yeah,
Wealth
well,
101. Thank you. So that's the one that comes to mind because I think that as a business owner, it's one of those things for me specifically. I mean, I'm okay organizing and doing all these things, but when it comes to finances,
mm,
I think I know, but I don't fully know. And it's one of those things where I wish that's something that, and I think we said it when we are doing the courses, it's something that you want to be aware of and integrate into your business, the
mm,
financial part of it, at the very beginning rather than later. And just that awareness was it's not, I mean, I think it's one of those things where you think, you know what, yeah, that makes so much sense, but you don't even think about it, right? You don't think about it, and then you start realizing as you're going through the course how critical and how important it is. And you should know that it's important. Like you want to know I mean, your business is to generate income and revenue. It's not about just, if somebody comes and pays you, it's like, okay, yeah, you won't take the cash and then just move on. It's more complex than that. And just understanding all the details behind it and just being able to, structure your business accordingly, I think was so critical and understanding that. And it's one of those things where when I first started, it didn't even occur to me that that's something that I needed to integrate into my business. And now, as I've taken the course in helping business owners that I work with, it's one of those things where I also mention these are the things that you need to have. So it's kind of a twofold thing for me. It helped me realize this is something I should have done sooner. And now with me, with what I do, it's one of those things where I help business owners realize this is something that they need sooner rather than later. Because if you can't measure it, you don't know how you're doing, right?
Yeah,
So it's something that I kind of, struggled with. And it's one of those things where I've also said in my planning that I'm doing for next year, one of the things that I don't like doing is my finances. And it's like I don't have to do it, right? If I don't like it and if I'm not comfortable with it, but I know enough about it to say, okay, this is what I need, and this is the type of person that I need in my business. It's given me that foundation to understand at least that it's important, who I need, and just the overall, like the overview of what's required. Whether I do it or not, that's completely different. But it's given me that understanding of the importance of it.
great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Over to you, Caitlin, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Priyanka. I think it's awesome to hear about everything you've learned through April Stroink's course. To continue on that conversation, throughout your journey with leveling it up, have you had any like aha moments, or have you found any key takeaways that have really affected how you do business, or even any key partners or facilitators that have made an impact in your journey?
Yeah, so I did mention working with April with the Wealth 101. That was a quite a huge eye opener and a total game changer because the way she just talks about the finances, um, it's because she talks about profit first and paying yourself as a business owner first, because as business owners you try to do it the reverse, and I think it makes so much sense to do it the other way around. So that's one of the aha moments, was just realizing how critical it is and how it's so critical to understand that or to integrate that at the beginning of your business. And the other one that stands out, or actually two more that stand out, was Kathy with the Thrive Academy, the year-long program, where she just goes through basically everything you need to know as a business owner, from just everything. Like I don't think there's not one thing that was missing from her curriculum. She had, you know, everything around lead acquisition to even nurturing. So she had a segment on referrals and how to get referrals, the lead magnets, and she also had an audit where you would she would review your social media or your website and give you feedback. And the feedback that she gave was really, it was very, very thorough. Like she took the time to go through every single page, every single word, to give you feedback on how it can be improved. So just again, for me, like I said initially, it's really looking at being open, really, to looking at other perspectives, because you're in your business so much that there's even the smallest things or the most obvious things you completely miss. So the fact that someone else is looking at it was great, because she gave it a different perspective, and she was there to, hold us accountable, ask us questions around, you know, just getting us to be more aware of what we're doing, and just really getting us to see a different perspective. So just by asking certain questions, she was able to do that. And I think that was really, really, really great. The experience was wonderful with her. And then we also connected one-on-one whenever we wanted to ask her certain questions, specific questions about our business. We had the opportunity to do that through the one-on-one sessions with her. So that was also great, because it was very specific to the challenge that you were facing. And then the last one was Safi Media with Eleanor. I think Eleanor is a wonderful facilitator, and she really stands for women in the community. And really, I mean, her mission is really striving to get women out there and being more successful. So I think just even her disposition, how she teaches women and how she's there to support them fully is great. And so I took two courses with her. One was and I apologize for the names, but I think it was Beyond One-on-One and the 500K offer, and also did the audit with her as well. So yeah, so it was all really super professional, and just the insights that you get from her and just her perspective. I value her perspectives. I mean, I follow all of them on social media just because their perspectives are so enlightening and so insightful. So those three are the ones that really stand out for me, and they're really valuable to be able to help me see my business from a different light. And again, with business, it's not like it's here and it stays here. It's constantly evolving. So the three women that I mentioned were really pivotal in helping me see and grow and adjust things that maybe weren't as clear as maybe they could have been.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. And honestly, from our side, we love hearing that how you took advantage and how you've connected with the facilitators and how you've learned from them. And especially in your case too, where you take these learnings, you integrate them into your business, and
Yeah.
then you show your clients what you've learned and how they can integrate it into their businesses. So that's awesome. So in doing that, the kind of like knowledge transfer and the learning and the growth that you've put in over your leveling up journey, have you seen any ripple effects either in your community or economically or financially or on a personal level?
I think on a personal level, mostly, because at this point, what I just earlier in the year, actually halfway in the year, is when I pivoted a little bit with my business direction. So that's when I was taking the courses, and it helped me refine where I needed to go. So as far as financial impact, it hasn't been there yet, but I know with all the different changes and what I've implemented from what I've learned, it's helping me be more clear as to where I'm going. And just just looking at those different insights was really, really helpful for me. So I'm at the point where I'm much clearer, and that's what's the leveling it up courses have helped me, and the different facilitators have helped me get that clarity around where it is that I'm taking my business and who I'm serving, how I'm serving them. Because again, it's always a different perspective, and I'm always open to listening to hearing other perspectives from other business owners who, maybe they're doing it or they've been through it already.
No, that's so great. And if you don't mind me asking, I'd love to hear more about where you want to take your business and what that vision has evolved to now.
So at this point, I really do want to focus on small business owners because I think small business owners are such a huge part of the community. And just the fact that I've seen so many business owners lose a lot of money on some of these tactics that don't get them results is just really getting them to understand the importance of their customer and the importance of what they can do early on to be able to make those differences. So here's an example, right? So if you're starting a business, yes, you want to focus on acquisition because you need to get clients in the door. But then once you start to get clients in the door, you just want to constantly get more clients in the door. But if you actually focused on, okay, what's after they come through and become a paying client, what am I doing with them? And most of the time, you're not doing anything with them, which means that once they're in the door, you serve them, you provide them whatever product or service that you're offering, and then they're gone somewhere else. But if you actually took the time to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, look at that customer journey. What does that look like for them? How can I enhance that so they could stay there longer, so you could serve them better, so their experience could be fantastic? So again, they stay, they buy more from you, but they're also telling other people about it too. And to be able to do that, or to be able to get that message across to small business owners earlier rather than later, I think is going to have an impact on their business. And they may not see it right away, but it's one of those that is going to be have a long-term effect. So that's really my mission now, is really getting small business owners to do that. Unfortunately, I think it's a hard battle. So it's challenging because a lot of business owners just think, I need new clients. And it's true, you do need new clients, but you also need to know how to keep those new clients that you're getting, right? So it is a bit of a challenge to get them to really look at the importance behind it. But I think once they do and once they see it, it makes a huge difference. Like I'm working with a client right now, she's a paralegal, and she's basically not spent anything on, it's been all 100% organic because it's based on her, how she set up, how we set up her website, how how we optimized her Google page. And a lot of them are coming from referrals because she's taken that approach where, she gets the client in the door. And most times with paralegals, it's transactional, right? But if you serve them in a certain way, which is what she's doing, like she's looking at it from a customer centric perspective completely. And so because she serves them to a certain level, they come back or they're referring other people. And that makes a big difference because I mean, even she said, because she's been in the industry for about 12 years, is that a lot of people will come in, get the service, and then that's it. They're gone. They don't even remember you anymore. Next time they need a paralegal, they go somewhere else, right? Because there's no connection to you. They never felt that they never felt valued, or they never felt like you handled it. They just handled the case and that was it. They didn't handle it from a personal perspective, and that's what she does, which is great because I mean, you could see the trust and the empathy and the care behind how she delivers her services, and that makes a huge difference. And I think that that's what I think a lot of people are missing is, I've seen so many people say, yeah, we're customer focused, but then you call them and they don't call you for a week. It's like, well, you know, how can you be customer focused if that what's going to happen is that customer is not going to wait a week. They're going to go somewhere else. They're going to find someone else on that Google listing and they're going to go somewhere else. And you've lost that client. But then they're spending money on the front end trying to acquire clients. And it's just there's a disconnect, or they have a contact form where you fill it out and they don't even respond to you. So there's all these disconnects where you can say, oh, we're customer focused, but then all the things that you're doing don't align, right? So with the clients I'm working with is making sure that, okay, we're saying we're client focused, but we're actually showing it and we're going over and above that. Make sure that their clients are well taken care of, that they're happy and they keep coming back and they keep telling others.
Oh, that is so true. I love how you said that. And it just creates that in general so much authenticity in your brand when your messaging aligns with what you do. It's invaluable. Um,
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like communicating your value and then proving that.
Yeah, it's
Like,
showing it, right?
yeah,
It's everybody could go out there and say that they're great at this and that, but if you don't actually show it, I mean, that actually hurts you probably more is if,
yes.
like you said, it's the authenticity, right? If you say one thing but do the opposite, people see through that. And these days, it's a customer world, right? It's customer focused, right? The customer clients that are coming to you, they now have all this data out there. Like I can see 10 different competitors to you, and why am I going to choose you over someone else? There has to be something compelling around it, right? And then one of the other things that I see, and it's kind of a sidetrack, but one of the other things that I see is that, there's a lot of assessments that are done like website assessments and to see whether you're SEO compliant and all these other things. But to me, when I look at that, I think it's great to do that because you want to see how your website and SEO and everything else is performing, but it's technical, right? So if it's technical, somebody's getting to your website, they're getting to your website, but if your website doesn't align with who that person is, they're not going to stay on there. So I think for me, it's really that website that you have and what that presence is needs to align with you as business owner, and it needs to connect with that business, with that prospect, right? And if it doesn't, you can have the technical stuff could be perfect and great, fantastic. But if what you're saying to them doesn't align, and I think where's that's the big disconnect that I also see is that yes, technically, it's important to make sure that you have a well-functioning, website. But if that website doesn't align with your customer, It's kind of like, what's the point, right?
Yeah, that is very true. We always say build it and they will come, but they'll come if they need it.
Yeah. They'll come, they'll see, but they'll go, right? Because
It'll go.
it's
Yeah.
not, yeah, you're not connecting with them.
I have one more question for you before we start to wrap up. That's why do you think there should be more programs like Seeds Leveling It Up? And why is this important for entrepreneurs like yourself?
I think the biggest thing is the support and accountability, and the fact that you've got a community of people that are in the same position where they're starting out their business. They want to understand what they need in their business to be able to make it successful. And by providing what you provide, I think is so important. And I don't think I've come across any other programs similar to Seed where it's just the variety of different courses that you offer, from financial, from I didn't take this one, but I probably should have, is legal as well. You have the legal aspect of it, you have the financial aspect of it, you have the marketing aspect of it. It's like you touch everything that the business owners need. And sometimes most of them are just here's some audios, here's some videos, or here's some resources, whether it's, reports or guides. But I think when you have that accountability and you have that one-to-one with experts who can walk you through your own specific examples in your own specific business, because everybody's business is different. And just to have that support, and again, because you now have this community, you now build this community with people that are in the same, going through the same challenges as you. And then it's one of those things where you realize, okay, you're not alone because you have all this other support and everybody else going through it with you. And it's just, I think it's 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 amazing the fact that it's all encompassed, it's all in one, where you have all the different education, but then you have that support and accountability. And I think that the accountability is so important to be able to be a success in your business, because without that, I mean, sometimes you just think, okay, you know what, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. And but when you have to do it because you're held accountable to it, it changes things, and it makes you realize that, I need to be consistent with this. And this is also why I love Kathy's program, is because there was the consistency. Like we always said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. She's giving me recommendations on the website or on my social media, and then I'm making those changes. We go back and forth to make sure, okay, does it align? Does it make sense? Is it clear? Because again, it could be super clear to me because I know what I want to say, but somebody on the outside reading it may be completely different, right? And like they say, I don't know if you ever seen the analogy of a jar. So it's a jar, could be a jar of anything, but the label's on the outside and you're on the inside. And they say, you know what, you can't read the label when you're inside. It's like somebody on the outside is the one telling you, right? Because they can see it. You can't because you're inside the jar. So it's really, really cool because you get to see a different perspective. And I think that that's what the programs bring to you, is just a completely different perspective, not just from the person offering the programs and conducting the programs and leading the programs, but it's also coming from other people that are taking the programs too.
That is so great to hear. And I love that analogy of the jar. That just makes so much sense to me the way you said it. But
Yeah.
Fatima, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. It's clear that with Barrera Marketing, you've done so much learning and you've put so much of yourself and authenticity into it to really support entrepreneurs like yourself. We're honored to have been a part of your journey with Leveling Up, and we hope to continue to collaborate and see you grow after the program and beyond. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share before we go?
No, I mean, I want to thank you both for taking the time to, understand how it was helpful for me, because how it was helpful for me can also make, other people, other entrepreneurs can see how it can help them too. Because I think it's just what you offer is like nothing I've seen before, and the support and the community behind it, I think is so valuable to be able to support you as a business owner, especially if you're just starting out. So thank you for offering the programs, because I think the programs have been fantastic. they've been wonderful and super impactful in helping me with my business.